So this is actually a very, very big problem, because most people believe that success is something that happens to us. They believe that success is something that we just go after and hope we get. They believe that success is a result of some external force or factor like luck, circumstances, timing, and they couldn't be more wrong. I spent 20 years of my life failing miserably at almost everything, until I learned this one simple principle. And it was this simple principle that unlocked every door, that melted every obstacle, that allowed me to achieve things that I had never thought possible. So if you want to succeed at anything in your life, if you want to be happy, if you want to make money, if you want to have a great relationship, then you need to understand this one thing. Everything starts with you. Your emotions are the energy behind your actions. If you cannot master your emotions, then you cannot master your life. When I say master your emotions, I don't mean that you need to learn to suppress your emotions, to become a robot without feelings. No. What I mean is that you need to learn how to use your emotions to your advantage, how to leverage them so that they work for you instead of against you. Most people fail at this because they let their emotions control them. They react instead of responding. They act out of anger, out of fear, out of insecurity, and they end up making decisions that destroy their chances of success. You see, success is not something that happens to us. Success is something that we create. It is a choice that we make every single day. It is a commitment that we have to ourselves, to our goals, to our dreams. When you understand this, when you internalize this, then you become unstoppable. Let me give you an example. Think about someone who is angry. This person is driven by anger. Maybe he's angry because he feels like he's been treated unfairly, that he's been wronged, that he's been hurt. And instead of letting that anger consume him, instead of letting that anger make him bitter, he decides to use that anger to fuel his success. He says to himself, okay, I'm angry, but I'm going to use this anger to make something good happen. I'm going to use this anger to make myself better, to prove to everyone who doubted me that I can do it. That's how you channel your passion, your anger, your frustration, your pain into achievement. That's how you turn a negative into a positive. That's how you become successful. But here's the catch. You need to know how to stop that anger from controlling you. You need to know when to let it go, when to move on, when to forgive. Otherwise, you'll just end up hurting yourself and everyone around you. Here's another example. Think about someone who is patient. Not just any kind of patience, but a kind of patience that comes from wisdom, from understanding, from acceptance. This person doesn't get angry or upset when things don't go his way. He doesn't blame or complain. He doesn't feel entitled or impatient. He understands that things happen for a reason, that everything has its time, that everything has its way. And so, he waits calmly and peacefully, knowing that whatever happens, it will be the best thing for him in the long run. That is the kind of patience that leads to success, not the kind of patience that comes from weakness, from fear, from resignation, because that kind of patience just leads to suffering, to stagnation, to despair. You see, success is not about waiting for things to happen. Success is about creating things to happen. It's about taking action, about doing something, about becoming something. It's about growing, about evolving, about transforming. It's not about sitting back and hoping for the best. So now the question is, how do you develop that kind of patience? How do you cultivate that kind of wisdom? How do you acquire that kind of understanding? Well, the answer is simple. You learn it, you study it, you practice it, you read books, you talk to people, you observe nature, you reflect on your own experiences. You don't just get it overnight. You don't just get it by chance. You need to put in the effort. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the dedication. But if you do that, if you really want to succeed, then you will succeed. And finally, let me give you one last example. Think about someone who is calm, but not just any kind of calmness, but a kind of calmness that comes from strength, from confidence, from clarity. This person doesn't get stressed out or overwhelmed no matter how difficult the situation is. He doesn't panic or freak out. He doesn't doubt or worry. He knows who he is, what he wants, where he's going. And so he moves forward with grace and ease, with power and presence, with focus and determination. That is the kind of calmness that leads to success, not the kind of calmness that comes from ignorance, from arrogance, from complacency, because that kind of calmness just leads to recklessness, to irresponsibility, to chaos. You see, success is not about being unaffected by the world. Success is about being affected by your purpose, by your vision, by your mission. It's not about blocking out everything that doesn't fit your narrative. It's about embracing everything that challenges your growth, that tests your limits, that pushes your boundaries. It's not about being at peace with mediocrity. It's about being at peace with excellence. So now the question is, how do you develop that kind of calmness? How do you cultivate that kind of strength? How do you acquire that kind of wisdom? Well, the answer is simple. You learn it, you study it, you practice it, you read books, you talk to people, you observe nature, you reflect on your own experiences. You don't just get it overnight. You don't just get it by chance. You need to put in the effort. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the dedication. But if you do that, if you really want to succeed, then you will succeed. Now let us go back to the beginning of this video and I am gone. Now share with you for more reasons why mastering your emotions is the key to lasting success in life. Reason no. 1. It helps you make better decisions. When you are driven by your emotions, you are impulsive, you are irrational, you are reactive. You do things without thinking them through, without considering the consequences, without evaluating the alternatives. But when you are in control of your emotions, you are rational, you are logical, you are proactive. You think before you speak or act. You weigh the pros and cons. You choose the best option. You don't just follow your gut, you follow your mind. And your mind is guided by your values, by your principles, by your integrity. Reason no. 2. It helps you build better relationships. When you let your emotions rule you, you are selfish, you are insensitive, you are toxic. You think only about yourself and your own needs and desires. You don't care about others or how your actions affect them. But when you master your emotions, you are empathetic, you are compassionate, you are harmonious. You understand others and their feelings and perspectives. You care about them and you try to help them. You don't just take, you also give. And that is how you create real connections, how you create real friendships, how you create real love. Reason no. 3. It helps you achieve better results. When you let your emotions control you, you are inconsistent, you are unreliable, you are unpredictable. You do things half-heartedly, carelessly, aimlessly. You don't have a plan, you don't have a goal, you don't have a strategy. But when you master your emotions, you are consistent, you are reliable, you are intentional. You do things wholeheartedly, purposefully, methodically. You have a plan, you have a goal, you have a strategy. And that is how you get things done, how you reach your destination, how you live your dream. And reason number 4, it helps you maintain better health. When you let your emotions control you, you are stressed, you are anxious, you are depressed, you feel overwhelmed, helpless, hopeless. You neglect yourself, you abuse yourself, you destroy yourself. But when you master your emotions, you are relaxed, you are confident, you are optimistic, you feel empowered, purposeful, inspired. You take care of yourself, you challenge yourself, you improve yourself. And that is how you live vibrantly, how you live healthily. So if you want to succeed at anything in life, if you want to be happy, if you want to make money, if you want to have a great relationship, then you need to understand this one thing. Everything starts with you. Your emotions are the energy behind your actions. If you cannot master your emotions, then you cannot master your life. Now I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if there's anything else I can help you with, just let me know and I'll be happy to assist. Thank you for watching and have a great day.